Hey guys, I didn't get a chance to go live after the game yesterday because it ended really late for me and I needed to wake up early today, but I still wanted to get out a match review video for you all of my thoughts on Chelsea finally getting a win, finally beating Brighton after I think 3 matches in a row where they beat us and progressing to the next round of the Carabao Cup. So kind of an odd time to be doing this. Going to make it short and sweet and make sure that you guys can watch it on replay. But if there's anybody that happens to be tuning in at this time, thank you so much for watching, and let me know any questions that you have so that we can talk about it a bit in the chat. So looking at this game, this was a must-win game for Chelsea. As we know, I think that Chelsea had a lot more riding on it than Brighton did. And I tried to predict the Chelsea starting 11 and it didn't really I did like pretty okay, but let's take a look at the starting 11 that Poch opted for. Ben Chilwell, Levi Colwill, Disasi, and Cucurella made up the back four. We did see Robert Sanchez keep his place in the goalkeeper position. I thought maybe we might see Petrovic come in as the goalkeeper, and then we had a 4-2-3-1, but at times it was kind of like a 4-1-4-1 with Caicedo and Ugo Chukwu, and then Mudryk, Palmer, Ian Matson playing across the attack with Nico Jackson up front. So I thought that it was really interesting to have Chilwell, Cucurella, and Ian Matson, like all players that are typically left backs, were playing. And Cucurella, I did not foresee him filling in at that right back spot. And on top of that, he had a really, really difficult job of marking Matoma in this game, which is arguably one of the hardest jobs that you can have because Matoma is an incredible player. And then on top of that, he was booed constantly by the Brighton supporters, as was Caicedo as well. And then Ian Matson playing a bit further up. I didn't even realize that he could play almost as a right wing because he's typically played as a left back. And we've seen him in preseason play even as a left winger, but he was playing more as a right winger in this game. I was super happy to see Cole Palmer make his make a starting 11. I don't know if debut is the right word, but to finally be in the starting 11, not come off of the bench. I was really excited to see what he brought. And spoiler alert, he was my man of the match in this performance. I just thought that he was incredible. So taking a look at the game, I thought that Chelsea actually played fairly well. For large chunks of the match, I did think that it was a bit of the same story where Chelsea have a lot of possession and then we just don't take our opportunities and we couldn't find the back of the net. And then Brighton actually missed 2 really, really clear-cut chances. Again, thanks to individual errors. One was super poor from Robert Sanchez, and then the other one, I think it was that Sanchez was put under pressure and he passed to Caicedo, and then Caicedo was also under pressure. And thankfully, somehow we didn't get punished, but any other day that could perfectly not have been the case and Chelsea could have gone behind. Realistically, by halftime, we probably should have been trailing 2-0, and we got really lucky that Brighton just didn't put away those chances. But it's something that we've been seeing time and time again, that Chelsea play well, then they have 1 or 2 individual mistakes, they're punished, and then they have to find their way back into the match. And Brighton really, really were exploiting the fact that Sanchez is not good under pressure. I think in terms of Chelsea performances, this was one of the worst ones that we've seen from him. He made some really important saves, but in terms of the distribution, it was just really poor. You could tell that he was really nervous on the ball and he was giving it away or just kicking it and it would go out. And those types of things you wouldn't expect from your starting goalkeeper, especially from a goalkeeper that Poch likes to play with the distribution from the back as well. So it was a little bit nervy from his side. Going into halftime, obviously, it was 0-0, and then Chelsea came out and really hit the second half running. Like I said, I thought that Chelsea were lucky to go into halftime being at 0-0, and we finally get to see a Chelsea goal. Like, I literally went ballistic. I don't typically celebrate goals so much anymore because I just feel like, oh my god, what if it's going to get disallowed? The offside flag is going to go up. I know VAR wasn't in this game, but sometimes when you have VAR, you're like, I don't know, like if it's like what's going to happen. So it's been really hard for me to like actually like enjoy goals. I went absolutely crazy. My dog went crazy. I was like, oh my god, like the first goal that we've scored in a month. Like it had literally been a month, and I know that we had the international break as well, but it was just so freaking good to see Chelsea score a goal. And who is it other than Nico Jackson? It was phenomenal assist by Cole Palmer. I just thought that his creativity was so good in this game. I loved seeing what he brought, and I definitely want to see him starting against Fulham on Monday. I think that he deserves it, and we started to see that link up play as well between him and Nico Jackson, and I felt that Nico showed a real fighting spirit in this match. He hurt his wrist, he carried on. Eventually he did have to be taken off for it, but he missed a couple of opportunities, didn't let that get him down, and eventually he got his goal. And you could just see the relief on his face. One, for Chelsea finally having scored a goal, because when you go so many games and the whole media narrative around it is up, Chelsea still haven't scored a goal, it just builds the pressure onto him. And he really is meant to be the talisman and meant to be the goal scorer in this side. So for him to get a goal was just so positive. Almost had a second as well, thanks to Cole Palmer, but it did get ruled out for offside. But I thought that he put in a really positive warrior-like performance. I'm excited to see the link up of those two in the future. Hopefully his injury isn't too bad. Obviously he is suspended for the Fulham game anyways because of accumulation of 5 yellow cards. That must be one of the quickest accumulation of yellow cards that I've ever seen, like 6 games into the season and already suspended. So definitely needs to watch that. Rod said Palmer should be starting moving forward. Totally agree. I thought that he was phenomenal in this game, and I'm super excited to see what he does going forward. So yeah, overall, I felt that Chelsea did ride their luck a bit at times. I thought that Brighton should have gone ahead. Ugochukwu should have probably been sent off for a red card, and he already had a yellow card. So that was pretty shocking to me that he was still on the pitch and Chelsea really got away with one. But honestly, I'm going to take our luck where we can get it, because Chelsea have had really poor performances. And so for us to be able to go against a Brighton side that they put out a strong team, they were dominating for really large portions of the game, and they could have easily been 2-0 up. For Chelsea to go on and get the goal and then defend how they did towards the end, I was about to have a heart attack. I was thinking, how the heck did I sit through the Champions League final? Because like I really wanted us to win this game and to go to the next round and just have something to look forward to, and to have that fight, show that spirit, get that clean sheet, score a goal, see the game out through the end. Really a lot of positives to draw. Was it the best Chelsea performance ever? No. Like I said, I felt that there were a lot of moments where Brighton could have punished us, should have punished us, but didn't. And we did get a bit lucky in that. But I'm super hopeful as well that Chelsea can start to build off of this, build this momentum. Maybe this could be the win that they needed and the turning point that they needed, because Brighton are not an easy side to beat. And I know that it's the Carabao Cup, but maybe once you start getting a win, you can start building off of it. So let's take a look at some of the stats that Chelsea and Brighton had in this game. So Brighton actually had the majority of the possession, which is something that Chelsea maybe aren't necessarily used to, around 40 to 60% in Brighton's favor. Brighton had more shots at 13 compared to Chelsea's 9, but Chelsea did have more shots on target, 4 compared to their 2. Brighton had more corner kicks than Chelsea. Chelsea were offside so many times. There were so many attacks. I think Nico Jackson was offside the majority of the time. So just needs to time his runs a little bit better. That's going to get there. It will happen. But I think once he starts kind of building that chemistry with the other players and getting that understanding of knowing, okay, when do I need to run? That's going to be super. Well, that's just basically going to change, and hopefully then he doesn't find himself in an offside position as often. And like I said, maybe then we could have been 2-0 up and not been worrying so much towards the end of the match. 15 free kicks for Chelsea, 2 big chances, 1 big chance is missed per each side. And then Chelsea 70% passing accuracy, with Brighton having 87%. There was a point in time when I felt that Chelsea just weren't even able to hold on to the ball, and I was thinking like it's really not looking good, but we got past it. I'm positive Chelsea got the win. If you look at the head-to-head streaks, it's insane. Chelsea without a clean sheet in 5 against Brighton. Both teams scoring the last 5 out of 5. Chelsea were without 3 wins and no wins in their last 3 games, no goals scored in their last 3 games, and then Brighton were without a clean sheet in their last 9 games. And then Chelsea were the first to concede in 6 out of their 8 games, which is just like absolutely insane. And I didn't speak about this, but just take a look at this injury list. Like, I feel like this is something that the media narrative just isn't paying attention to at all. But you literally could make a starting 11 out of all of the players that Chelsea have out injured. Some are closer to coming back than others. And of course, Malagusto was suspended for this game because of the red card versus Aston Villa. But of course, when you have the likes of like Reece James and Cuckoo out, especially, like, it's not surprising to me that Chelsea are suffering. Yes, we should be making do with what we have, but we do have so many players out injured. So if we take a look at the statistics from this game for accurate passes, Brighton, really their defense and midfield just topping it here. But let's go into the attack. So Jackson had 2 shots on target. He succeeded in 2 out of his last 5 dribbles, and he did have 1 big chance miss. At least he's getting into the right positions as well for the big chances. So that's super positive. And then Salimach also had 1 big chance miss. Mudryk, I thought, was pretty positive in this game. He's somebody that I haven't really talked about so much, but I thought that he showed a good performance. He was getting the ball, and I think he's starting to develop a partnership with some of the other players on the pitch, like especially him and Nico Jackson. I find that they're talking to each other and trying to see how they can feed each other the balls and work better with one another. And I think that we're starting to see that a bit. And he's making some interesting runs and just getting the ball at his feet. So I think that he's looking definitely a little bit more settled. He still has a lot of room to grow. He's still a very raw player, but that's what we bought. That's what the expectation was. So what else can we really expect? Thought Disasi also had like a quietly good game as well. At least he didn't make any glaring errors, in my opinion. 4 clearances from him topping the list. Block shots 1 apiece. Interceptions, Estupinian topping with 3, and then Colwell with 2 as well. And let's take a look at passing. I love looking at the long balls. Oh my god, like, this is mad. This is actually insane. Sanchez attempted 23 long balls and only completed 5, and that kind of just shows you the game that he had and goes back to what I was saying about Sanchez and the poor performance that he had in terms of distribution. Like, that's just shocking. I prefer for him to just not try to play out of the back and hold on to the ball and then like throw it to somebody and know that you're going to at least get somebody instead of just constantly breaking down the attack because of being under pressure. Okay, this has just like refreshed automatically. That's so odd. Raz asking, what did you make of Jackson? The disallowed goal was harsh. Honestly, it's so difficult to see without VAR. And I think if VAR was implemented in this game, we would have at least seen more replays or a better angle or seen what they were thinking. For me, it was too close to call. For me, it could have gone either way because I just didn't get to see really like the lines or a really good angle of the goal being disallowed. But apart from that, I thought that he was getting into really good positions. I thought that he was taking chances. He looks like he has a really strong mentality. And I think that Chelsea fans have been a bit harsh on him because no, he hasn't been scoring. It's his first season in the Premier League. The plans for him preseason with the link up with him and Nkunku basically went out the window. We finally saw him and Cole Palmer. I fully expect Cole Palmer to start again versus Fulham after the performance that he put in. Obviously, now Jackson is out suspended, but I think like those two could create a really good partnership between them. And I think it just shows like he looks like he has a strong mentality. He wants to fight for Chelsea, and that's what I'm looking for. So he's still raw, he's still young. That goes the same for most of this Chelsea side. So we have to have patience with him. But I'm sure in 1, 2, 3 years, like he really does look like the real deal. So I truly back him, and I think that he's a fantastic player. Nazareth says Chelsea finally have their only goal of the month. I think they'll like sprinkle in some like development side, but yeah, that's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Um, Shima says Chelsea versus Fulham clean sheet. It's possible. Honestly, I do back us to get a clean sheet versus Fulham. That's a game that we should be winning. I'll have a preview out at some point this weekend as well. But I would think so, like I would think so. And yeah, I just saw the news of the Chua injury. Seems to be another hamstring, so I'm going to be looking into that to see if there's any more injury news coming up with Chile as well. That's super unfortunate. Like the guy just can't stay fit. It sucks because he's such a talented player when he is fit. D says he says, I'm shocked that Welbeck didn't score against us. Oh my God, the heart palpitations that I had when Danny Welbeck came on, I was like, because he scored against us in the last Brighton game, and he just has this, like, I don't know, this ability to always find one against Chelsea. Like it's always like the player that's coming on, and it's like being brought on to try to win that team the game. And Danny Welbeck is one of those players that could be so key. And I feel like he tends to just like perform against Chelsea and do something special. So I was shocked as well that he didn't score, because I felt that it was written in the stars, like Danny Welbeck to score again versus Chelsea to progress right into the next round. Like the headlines were totally writing themselves. But all in all, just to sum up, Chelsea have so many things to be positive about. I know it's been a rough start to the season. It's not the start to the season that any of us would have wanted, and Chelsea are capable of performing better. It's a process. I know people don't want to hear that, but it is a process, and it's going to take 1 or 2 years at least for us to start seeing some growth and development within the team. So come along for the ride. I think that Poch is the right person. It's going to take time. This team is young, they're inexperienced, but they're going to get there, and we're showing really positive signs. So for me, you have to take the wins when they come. This was a massive win in my books. Have a couple more questions before we close out. Dan Lerner says, we won. I'm sure I won't give that back these days. Definitely lots of concerns. Of course. Yep. But a moment of brilliance by Palmer. He looks good. It should start at the 10 on Monday. Move Enzo back to 8. Yep. Totally agree. So my only thing is I'm not sure like who's necessarily going to start as that striker. Maybe we see Broya start, but it seems that we are still taking it easy, of course, since he's coming back from injury, and he had a really nasty one out for about 10 months or so. So it'll be interesting to see, like, do we employ somebody like a Sterling or a Palmer as a false 9? Do we just throw Broya in there? I think he's looked positive, so maybe if he's fit enough, we can start him and then kind of see what happens. But definitely think that Palmer warrants a start versus Fulham on Monday. And then, do you think Nkuku will be a hit right off the bat? Obviously, like when you're coming back from injury, especially surgery, can be quite difficult. But I will say, from what I saw in preseason, he looked absolutely phenomenal, especially the link up between him and Jackson looked really good. And he just has this natural goal scoring ability. So even if he's not having his best game in the world, he still is capable of making one of those magic moments and putting the ball in the back of the net, which is something that I feel that Chelsea are lacking. And he's going to be one to take shots. He has that natural instinct, that natural scoring ability. He knows what positions to be in. So I do think that he's going to hit the ground running, but I also want to ground myself and set the expectation like, okay, he's going to be coming back from injury. He's going to be like, he'll have been like 5 or so months without playing at that point. So maybe it's going to take a bit of time, but I do think that he's a phenomenal player, and Chelsea are going to look like a different team when he's on the pitch as well. Cool, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick little match review. Normally we'll be doing them after the games unless they're super late. I think Fulham is also going to be a late one for me, and then if not, I'll be doing them the day after. Not so ideal in terms of getting people to watch, but better for my sleep. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts. If you like it, make sure that you're subbed to the channel, like this, comment, interact with my socials and all of that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.